Hey guys, welcome back. Taking a little break from Grandpa D and thought I'd work on a little something for Smokey. Dad brought a bunch of his parts in a bunch of boxes. He had them in a storage shed, so it was nice. Got them all down here. And yeah, so I think what I'm going to do today, shoot a little video on disassembling the seats. So here's the original front bench seat, and then flip this around. Here's the back seat. You can see it was that salmon color, or coral, I guess what they called it. And yeah, and the bench. Man, this foam stuff is nasty. Ugh. So anyway, just gonna take it all apart and get this guy. I'm gonna try to save as much of the fabric as I can just so that we've got it. I don't think Dad wants to go back to the coral and the gray, but just thought I'd hold on to it. I've got the cross member being powder coated for Grandpa D. That's all boxed and good to go. So he's just waiting on a couple parts. And so I'm working on him for the summer project, putting in French doors, and gonna work on cutting in the cement floors for the Max Jack so I can get the Max Jacks hooked up and my garage won't look like a complete and utter disaster. So part of that is cleaning out the inside of Smokey here and getting those seats in so I have room for other things. So let's get to it. The back seats are pretty simple, just hog rings. But I thought, as I started, before I completely took it apart, I thought I would show you guys the way the factory folded everything, and you guys can see how they did it, and they brought the fabric over. So you can see here, they brought the fabric over the top there, and then when they folded it in, they pushed the center down and then pulled the sides over the top and then hog ringed it along that side. And then this is what it looks like on the back and the bottom. And this is also, I guess, for myself when I start to put this back together. Same thing here. They pulled it in, pushed the center down, folded the other ends over the top of the center, pinched it like that, and then put hog rings across the pinch here, and then hog ringed it inside of here to the frame. So that's how they did it. And we've got I have a couple hog rings I still have to get out. So just thought I'd show you guys that real quick before I completely disassembled it and looked back and went, well, how did I do that? So same thing down in the bottom corner here. They pulled it in, stretched, pulled each side, put the center part down, pulled over the top, and hog ringed right down over the top. So that's how the factory did it. So that's what we've got, just so that we remember, maybe more just for me than anybody else. So there we go. All right, what they do here, down at the bottom, look like they stretched. Pull that up here. Okay, this is the back. And it looks like they pulled down. They pulled in these directions here and then folded back up underneath and then pinched it. So there we go. All right. Well, actually, this is the front. This is the driver's side. So the left front corner. All right, down it goes, back to removing hog rings in the 104-degree temperature. Okay, so those are the layers. There's the top layer, that guy right there, and then over that is this foam nasty crap that just disintegrates. And then under that they had this I don't know, it looks like stuff you get out of the washer dryer and after drying your clothes. And then they have this horsehair, and then they have on the bottom of the horsehair is a plastic. So sorry, I was zoomed in a little far on that. So, and it looks like there was 2 ridges of this dryer stuff, and then they had the foam sitting in between, and they had a line of it here, line there, and then they also had that dryer lint ball stuff material pushed down on the corners. And they have this horsehair, and once again under the horsehair type there is plastic. So, and there are a bazillion of the hog rings. Yeah, pretty simple, but just monotony. Just have to clip them all out. I'm using bolt cutters to do them. So anyway, upward and onward. At the bottom of the plastic, they have these, there's a black, a green, and a yellow wires going through here. I don't think they had seat warmers back then, so I don't know what these guys were used for, but yeah, they had them going through the whole thing. So interesting, the things you learn. So I'll have to research that and find out why they did that. But all right, cool. Ripping it apart. This was hog ringed on as well. So this guy's done. I'm gonna save the material. That nasty thing is gone. And that's it. I'm gonna have to get rid of the rest of the hog rings on that, and then I can put the base in. So 1 out of 3 done. Interesting things to note about the back pad. This piece of burlap that they have running across that holds the back section where your back goes to, the springs to the back part of it. And then they have this guy right here. I can pull this out. This just metal, I don't know, funky bent piece of metal that goes across there. Rod that, you guys see that? There we go. That runs across the back, and it was hog tied in. So I don't know, maybe that gives it stability in the back when you hog tie or something. Not quite sure, but all right, this is all done and all in pieces, and put it back in. So I'm gonna have to look on Rusty, my 56, but I know this back, it has to have a way that it clips in, because right now it looks like the previous owner of the car might have taken them out, but I'm pretty sure when I put Rusty's back in that this back seat clips in somehow. Like you actually lock it in. And there's 2 little tabs. There's a tab right there and a tab over on the other side, but neither one of them are long enough for this, and I don't see anything on the front of the seat frame that actually holds it in place. So I don't know. I'll have to look at my 56 or watch some videos and see if I have to weld something in or something was taken out. Or anyway, but got the original covers, so I'll just box those up, fold them up, box them up, put that guy in, and this bench seat will be tomorrow or the next day. And then I'll put that in here, and then I can be able to walk around in my garage again, which will be wonderful. So yeah, so in the next video, I'll just continue on with this video series. I'll tear this guy down. This one's a lot more involved other than just hog ties. It's got all the different little screws and the sliding mechanism and stuff. So I'll just go over that with you guys as I take it apart. Took apart the seats today, so all that nasty foam stuff is vacuumed up and thrown away, and I have your original seat covers here. And then the frames are all taken apart. I took them, almost all the hog rings except for some on the back right there, but all the rest are out. So there we go. That's all done. Now I've got to take this guy apart, and then I'll put that guy in here once I get everything off of it. Hey guys and gals, welcome back. I don't even remember, gosh, it's been a couple weeks since my last video. I know I was tearing the seats down, so a little auto archaeology today. We're gonna take this guy down, which is Smokey's front seat. And yeah, just had a bunch of stuff going on at the house, putting in French doors and doing some home construction, and now I'm finally back on the vehicle. So I will be working on Grandpa D's transmission mount, so I'll continue on with those videos. And finally got that back from the powder coater. It's all boxed and ready to go. And yeah, so that's what's going on. Let's jump on this seat. Okay, so this is the original front seat for Smokey, my dad's 55. As you can see, it's been reupholstered once or twice before. The original seat material is this, I believe, right here. Yeah, it is. So here we go. You can see it was originally, this was that salmon color. And then you had the salmon and I don't know, whatever the gray that was. So I'm gonna take it all apart, see what's going on, see how many different layers I've got here, and then I'll put it back together. I've never taken one of these apart before, but cool thing about working on hot rods is mainly just screws, nuts and bolts. So I'll just start taking one out, then another, and we'll see what we've got. I'll go over how I did it with you guys, but yeah, pretty cool. So I wasn't kidding. There were 3 layers on this. So first, the layer that when we bought it, it had this on it. And then this interesting design I don't know where this comes from. Kind of unique. And then you have the original for the 55, which is the salmon. Pretty trick. All right, I'll go over taking those guys off and the way they go on and off. Not that difficult. They just, one end slides over another in just a minute. So yeah, so I'm gonna take off the rest of this interesting 50s material. This must have been done, it looks old. So I would say this was probably done in the 50s or 60s, late 50s, I guess mid 60s or something. And then, yeah, cool. Down to the next layer. The tops are down to the original. Sorry about that. There we go. I'm blown away. Seems like the upholsterers, both shops that put this upholstery on, put it directly over the original seats and didn't take anything off. Look at this. I'm so excited. All the original, the original screws with the little stainless pieces that go on them. And this guy was sitting in there. So let me show you where that goes. Up we go. So right here, here's the wedge that goes, well, here's one that's attached, right? But this one's plastic. Oh no, maybe that one's metal too. Yeah, they're metal. So pretty cool. These guys were there. I mean, if they weren't there, it definitely is gonna sit rather odd, but oh. Yeah, so I have to get this piece, another piece down here for each side, and I think those are plastic. I could be wrong, but this doesn't have the screw that goes along with it, but pretty stinking cool. They just hog-greened over the original stuff, so rock on. I'm pretty excited about that. I have all the original screws and the pieces that go with them, so look at that. And I've got this piece right here, which I'm sure be hard to find. So, all right, Smokey is, yeah, feeling a lot better now. Feeling a lot better about putting it back together when I need to, that I'll have the pieces that I need. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, let me go over a couple pieces here. So, this bottom piece right here, when it goes on, there's this piece right here, it sits right under here, and then this is going to attach to it. It screws on, obviously right there, but then it also sits, so it's going to hook onto this piece. I don't remember if it was the bottom or the top, but one of them it hooks onto. Now this piece right here is bolted right down below, right down here. This piece right here for the seat back is hooked onto a bolt or a dowel that comes out right here that has a lock pin on it, like that holds it on. So take this apart. First you take these guys off, just unscrew them, and then if it doesn't come right off, just gently move it back and forth, and then you'll find which side is hooked on. It rests on one of them. And then the same thing with the tops. The top, let's see. So when the top goes on, it's going to do the same thing. It has a screw that's down on the bottom, and then it's going to also hook on the top when it goes on here. Okay, and that's what's going to hold that piece on. I don't remember exactly where the hook, oh, it has one screw that goes on here. Sorry guys, I'll have to mess with it, but you'll be able to see. But this one also has a little hook that it goes on to. Sorry I don't have that. I've started taking things apart and should have videotaped it. All right, so each one of the seats has an upper and lower. These are almost like shims that go in, I guess, allow you to set the seat forward or backwards depending upon if you move it. You can see that it's opened up in the bottom so that you can slide it back and forth and wedge that in depending upon if you want the seat to come back farther or go forward a little bit. So anyway, when you take this piece off right here, then you have these little guys. I'm putting a P if it's passenger side, and I'm gonna have these in a Ziploc bag for passenger, and then this is from the driver's side. And then there's also, so this back seat, to get the back seat off, once you take that piece off right there, then you're going to just gently give this a little bit of finesse with the screwdriver. It's going to pull it out of this socket right here, which is in the center. There's a little post right there that sits inside there. And then the whole back of the seat will come off. Then you have your back and your front. Okay, so that's how you take the two apart. And yeah, so that's it pretty much. Not really not super complicated. I'm gonna pull the other side apart and then go to town with some bolt cutters and get rid of all the hog rings and all that stuff. So alrighty guys, let's see what happens next. Okay, in my last video I didn't feel like I really explained how these go together, so since I got the driver's side here or taken apart, but easily put back together, here we go. So this piece right here doesn't clip. I thought that it had a clip, but it has one screw that goes in right here, which goes in right there, and then there's a screw down at the bottom right here, and that's going to go through that hole right there. So when this goes on, it's going to go on like this, and you can see it's going to have an indented part down at the bottom here, so that when the seat goes back, it sits, looks like almost like 45-degree angles, each one of them, right? The bottom and the top. So this piece comes off here. Now to get the bottom piece off, this is what I was talking about with it being kind of clipped together, or being held. So you have screws that go on the bottom down here, and what you do is, see this the front comes off real easy, and then the back, actually you lift it up off the top, if I can get it with my hand, and it hooks onto this guy right here. So the top of this, see that little tab right there? That tab goes over this guy right here. Then once you get this guy off, then push the seat back, and it's going to expose these two screws right here down at the, get away, these two screws right down under here. And once you take these screws out, this comes off, then you can move the seat over this way, which pops it off of this pin, and then it's going to take it out of that center pin. So that's how you get this apart. Now when you're taking the seat back out of the centerpiece, the seat backs themselves have a little, off the centerpiece, off the shaft, there's a little clip. Let me see if I can do this with one hand here. Sorry guys. Okay. So you have to turn the seat backwards, the left side or right side, the door side, pull that back, and then you guys can see that right here. See, there's a little knob that comes off the end there, so that stops it from being pulled out. So so to put it back in, you go in at an angle. So you're going to take the seat, put it in an angle, put that little hook in there. Once you get the hook in, then just turn it, and then it goes in. It comes out the same way. Pull back a little bit, tilt or turn it diagonally, and then it pulls right out. Cool, we're moving forward. A bazillion hog rings. Here we go, guys. We're down to the original interior. So these are all the covers. Two different covers that were sitting on top of the original, and we're back down to the original material here that they had. It's kind of cool. Yeah, all this decomposed foam is nasty stuff, not fun to breathe. Sure you got something on. And yeah, just clipping the hog rings and pulling them out. I use my clippers and bolt cutters, and I also use a pair of diagonal cutters to get those. So I'm going to take these guys off. I think I'm going to save these just so that my dad has them, and I can always look back for reference. But I don't know if we'll go to Ciadella or where we'll go to buy new ones. I know there's two different companies. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Ciadella. So all right, not too bad, guys, not too bad. Just take a little bit of time and knocking the hog rings out. We're good to go. So I'll take this off, and then I'll put it inside a Smoky over there, and it won't be cluttering up my garage anymore. Yay. Well, bottom is done. I really thought I was going to find more come out of that, and the only thing I got is kind of cool. I got an RC Cola cap that has a cork inside to it, so I don't remember when that was, but yeah, so it's the only thing that came out of it. But yep, so now I'm going to pull out the other two, the back pieces, and we should be good to go. Pretty easy, just a bazillion and one hog ring. So back to the hog ring. When you're putting this bottom piece back on, down here so you guys can see this here. So when you're putting this back on, you can actually flip it over. So make sure that the side with the threaded hole is at the bottom, passenger and driver side. So remember, the top of your, I don't even know what you call it, garnish, I guess, it goes right on the bottom. It's going to clip into this piece right here. It's going to come right over the top of this little sharp, or this little edge that comes up, okay, that protrudes. And then the bottom down here has a threaded piece. That's where it's going to get screwed in. And then it'll obviously get screwed in at the front as well. So it goes over the top. So when you put this back on, this piece, this rectangle is tilted forward, angled forward. You want this piece, non-threaded hole, no hole in it, to go forward. This is how it goes. So it's going to slip. There's a tab. I think I showed you guys last time. That little tab goes right into, see this rectangle, see how it has a piece that comes out, or it's concave right there. So that little tab right here is going to go into that piece right there. Just like that. Perfect. And then you just screw in the other ones and that bottom's done. Okay guys, there you have it, all disassembled and ready to go back in the car for storage until we get to the point of covering the seats. I like to put everything back when I take something apart, just because if I'm not around, the next person can at least know where things go. So I put all the pieces back on. Now this piece goes on nice and easy on the passenger side. Driver's side, I was having a heck of a time. Nothing was lining up. I was trying to get this piece on, and I had to like really push on it. And then I realized it must have been a very heavy person, an owner at one point, or some people were getting crazy in the driver's seat of this car, because try to hold this. You guys see that? It's cracked right there. Right there is the crack. And I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but so that piece is cracked right there. And it looks like it kind of put everything out of whack. And also, if you look at, they've got this support string that goes across here that's supposed to hold all these springs together. And the passenger side, this one section is ripped out. The driver's side is completely ripped out. So you have this part right here is ripped out, the center's ripped out, the other part of the center is ripped out right here, all the way over. So whoever sat in this seat at one point was a pretty heavy person, I'm thinking. So anywho, everybody, so that pretty much ends it for this little video series. Thank you guys for checking it out. Remember, check out Half Rod's Montana Garage, Dan's Tri-5s, all the other good Tri-5 links I have down below. Just go into the description, and I have links of all sorts of really good YouTubers that I follow along with and have helped, taught me a lot over the years and continue to teach me as I enjoy this wonderful hobby. So hope you guys are having a wonderful summer, and I will catch you guys on the next one. I'll be working on Grandpa D over there.